Hey there, YouTube land. And if you watch my videos on a regular basis, then you know there are certain companies that I really like. You're going to often see a lot of Scream Factory and a lot of Criterion videos on here. And there's one other company you're going to see a lot of more than any others, and that's usually Arrow Video. Now, everything being said, I'm pretty obsessive about my Scream Factories. I love my Criterions. I don't like all Criterions. I like the ones that I like, the movies that I want. And they have a lot of great ones out there. But the company that got me started collecting company-wise was probably Arrow. And that's probably still my favorite of the three companies. Although Scream puts out a lot of great stuff that I like, so I have a ton of Scream stuff that I really love. Arrow just did always go that one step farther. It was a few years back. I was collecting mostly TV shows at the time. And I was reading Horror Hound magazine. It's a smaller horror publication, and every time they do like left something in there about collecting. Usually they have this VHS section where they'll show like VHS tapes and like the different artwork for certain VHS companies and stuff. So I used to collect that, and because I loved reading that article. Plus, they had really good retrospectives. Did one on the year 1981. Well, I'm not sure if it was in that issue or not, but there's in one issue they had a little like 4 or 5 page article on Arrow Video. I hadn't seen much of their stuff except like kind of adverts in different magazines and stuff, and I read it, and I got to see some of the artwork that was there. It got me really interested and really curious. They showed like there was posters, there was lobby cards. So the second that I could get a region-free DVD player, I started looking towards getting Arrows that were region-free. At the time, I just started collecting from the UK because I wanted to get a region-free player to play Doctor Who stuff because it was a lot cheaper and the extras over in there are sometimes better. Now, I managed to do that, and then I managed to come across the Seiki region-free Blu-ray player that actually let me have a 60. Well, I think I got it at the time for $40 because it was on sale and at Walmart. So basically, I started collecting Arrow after that, and I really fell in love with the company. So I'm going to break this up into 3 ways. Basically, what you're going to see here, I'm going to do all my Arrow collection, plus you're going to get my top 12 Arrow Blu-rays, and you're going to get my top 5 Arrow DVDs that I've gotten as well. But first off, let's go for the other companies. Well, not the other companies, but the other subsidiaries. When I type with Arrow, I'm usually typing with Arrow Video, but Arrow is broken up into a couple different labels. There's Arrow World and there's Arrow Academy as well. And they even got kind of like a Swedish kind of noir type thing called Nordic Noir. Now, I don't have any of that stuff, but I do have some Arrow Academy and some Arrow World that I wanted to show you before we get into that. So first off is the Russ Meyer collection. I spent a lot of time talking about this one over the years, and since I bought this one, it's one of my pride and joys of my collection. It's one that's out of print, but honestly, guys, if you can get your hands on this, this is a massive set. It is huge. There's 19 films on here. You've got the Jonathan Ross episode of I think it was called. Oh my God, what's it called again? Erotica or something like that. I think was that name it, or was it Incredibly Strange? It was Incredibly Strange film show, I think. Somebody actually mentioned this on one of my videos recently. Great stuff, anyway. Really worth checking out. Next up, I got this one when I was over in Morocco. I was at the Casablanca Mall and went into their to the video store there, and I picked up the Claude Chabrol collection. It was really cool to see Arrow films come up there. That's their World one. Just some great stuff. As far as the other Arrows go, we've got the Time Bandit Steelbook. That's an Arrow Academy release. Brute Force. I'm not going to spend much time on these because I just recently, about a video or two ago, did a video basically on this. Sullivan's Travels, The Killers, Rafifi, Spirits of the Dead, and the one that I forgot to go here is the Ray Harryhausen one, which I showed you in a couple videos ago. So we're not going to go into that one too much. But now let's get into the not so recent stuff. Starting off with the DVDs. First, there are other company, kind of like a kind of more of a no frills company. Label that they do is Aerodrome. Basically, lets you sample some of the good stuff before you go in and buy like the real big collector's editions and stuff like that. And first one I ever picked up was the Gates of Hell trilogy, because I knew I loved Fulci, but it had been years since I'd seen it, and I kind of wanted to like revisit them again before I actually went and bought the big Blu-rays of them, and I was really glad I did because this became one of my favorite sets for a long time. I'll watch these over and over again. Actually, my good friend Dina DVD on here. When I was looking for something for him, and I know he wasn't much of a horror fan, like, and Fulci was kind of hardcore to go in horror, but when I thought of Fulci, I didn't just think of like it was a guy that did gore or did nude or whatever he did in his films. It was a guy that was a master of what he did. And Dina DVD, hopefully you're watching this, when I saw all your criterions and stuff that you had there, kind of like basically the best of the best of the guys do and the work that they did. Fulci is an Italian director who I think is one of the best. Some of his stuff can come off as schlocky and cheesy, and not everything is great. But this series here, especially, two of which is on your or on here, basically said that I think the City of the Living Dead and House by Cemetery are the two that are on your on set that I got you, and then Blu-ray. Because originally this was one of the things I thought about one of these sets here, but because you had a region-free DVD player, but you're a big Blu-ray player, collector, so I wanted to get something Blu-ray. But hopefully you'll like it. Fulci is an amazing cinematographer. A lot of his stories are really out there, but I think that City of the Living Dead, The Beyond, Zombie Flesh Eaters is another one, and House by Cemetery are movies that go beyond what you would normally expect in these type of films. They're part zombie, part ghost, part Frankenstein, part Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and they weave all this stuff around in a really unique way. And that's why Fulci is one of my favorite directors. He just does really different stuff. He does stuff that my better half would normally not watch by any other director, but I can actually get her to watch some of the stuff that he does because of the way he does it. Some movies like New York Ripper is not something that I would normally turn on for my with my better half. She's not a big horror fan, but I know that there's enough uniqueness in there that she can enjoy it for what it is and for technical aspects as well. Anyway, long story short, really love Gates of Hell trilogy. If you've never tasted Fulci before, it's a good way to start. Next up is one that I did not know I was going to get. It was a birthday present. It was I think it was last year. Or was this Christmas present? Ex-rental. That's his Christmas present. And I really love these movies. I love like the whole VHS thing. So when they put out like Maniac Cop, Cheerleaders, and Revenge of the Cheerleaders, McBain, Penitentiary with Penitentiary 2, all in this set here, it was something I just had to have. I really wanted to get these. There's ones that I've wanted for a long time. These are two great sets. If you don't have them, they're really worth picking up. As far as the DVDs go, I picked up ones I've picked up so far is Island of Death. They're putting that one on a Blu-ray. It's a really strange, different film. I think it's Greek, and Greek. I think it's Greek. Yeah, it's different. Not everybody's going. If you're looking at getting Island of Death, look it up first and see exactly what it's about because it's not for everybody. It's a different little film. It's kind of strange. Christmas Evil, which I think is a Christmas classic. Love this film. There's a Blu-ray out by Vinegar Syndrome. I wanted this one. I like the features that are on here. It's just some neat stuff. Love the artwork. Just really cool. Two Evil Eyes, George Romero and Dario Argento. If you watch my channel, you know that I really love Dario Argento's work. And I think that even his worst stuff is better than a lot of people's like best stuff or mediocre stuff because his stuff is extremely watchable. Even his worst stuff is like hypnotically watchable. Just watch Dracula 3D. It's a horrible, horrible movie, but you can't look away. You just can't. Card Player was one of his later films. I thought this was okay. It was a lesser film for me. Card Player just it seemed pretty tame for an Argento film, and it was around the time he was watching a lot of CSI. And this was kind of his CSI type of thing. So he actually described it as that. Stendhal Syndrome, I think, is underrated. This one has Zia Argento, one of his daughters. I think, which one is it? I know that Fior acts in a couple of his films as well. She usually gets killed off really early. And actually, the one of the movies I'm going to show you fairly soon. Sleepless, I like this one. I think it was the last really, really good one that he did. I really enjoyed it. Some of the acting's not the best in it, but it's a Italian giallo film, so you're not exactly going for that. Terror at the Opera was amazing. This has some great cinematography. I think Sergio Stavriletti worked on this one. I know Stavriletti worked on a lot of his films, and he worked on Silent Cinema as well. I think just did some great stuff on there. And one of the cool things about these early ones, and I'll show you with this one here, and it happens with a lot of the early Arrows. If you're lucky enough to go and grab yourself an early Arrow DVD or an early Arrow window box Blu-rays, which a lot of those are in print right now, and one of the things you're going to notice when you open it up is that they have posters for the original artwork on the films. On the back, you'll see stuff like this, but there you're going to get like the original artwork poster, and these are amazing. If I had more room, I would definitely have these up and pretty much get them framed, because they're really that cool. So there we go. And before I go on to do the Arrow Blu-rays, we're going to take a break here to show you my favorite Arrow video DVDs. And it's the top 5, so I figured I'd do a top 5 list for the DVDs, then I'd go on to the Blu-rays, and at the end of the Blu-rays, we're going to get a top 12 there, so keep watching. You're going to see some rarities here, so just saying. First off is Slaughter High. I really dig this movie. It's a really fun movie. You watch it, you kind of think this is the most moronic thing I've ever seen. You get to the end of it, and you're like, ah, okay, I get it. It's still kind of silly, but I can watch it again with new eyes. And you can. Slaughter High is one of those movies. I watched this one twice in a row because I love the little kind of thing at the end. It was like, oh yeah, so silly, but still. Pieces, great, silly, funny, crazy film. I don't think this one was meant to be totally serious. There are some pretty hilarious things in Pieces, and you don't have to go to Texas for a Chainsaw Massacre. And it's a really fun film. If you've never seen it, it's fun, it's gory, it's funny, it's silly, and it goes really over the top. It's got some great, like some beautiful women in it as well, and some great gore. Just a really cool film overall. Beyond Reanimator, not my favorite Reanimator film, not by far, but definitely one of my favorite discs that I've gotten from Arrow. This is Fantastic Factory. They actually put a set out of this, but at the time I just wanted this one because it has that hour-long feature that I keep telling everybody about. So if you haven't heard me talk about this, this has an hour-long feature on the entire Reanimator franchise. It tells you about all the Reanimator movies that were made. It tells you about all the Reanimator movies that did not get made. It's really, really well done. And Jeffrey Combs loves this here case. This one is long in print. This is one that if you get your hands on it, awesomeness. I was smart enough to grab this one up right away. I knew this one out of print in other companies as well, and my favorite Arrow covers, and one of my favorite movies actually is Savage Streets. Just amazing. Long in print, but if you get your hands on it, do so. If this ever goes to Arrow on Blu-ray, I would definitely double dip. There's certain movies that I will double dip on because they're just that good, and Savage Streets is one of those. Can't mess with John Vernon as the principal in that film. He's just awesome. And last, but definitely not least, one type of movies that I would definitely mind double dipping on, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, is going to be number 1 on that. And that is Tenebrae. This is the window box edition. And as you know, the window box editions of Arrows are pretty kind of rare right now. The actual... this is the first release of it. See, when this originally came out, Tenebrae came out on DVD and Blu-ray. The Blu-ray edition of Tenebrae that was first put out was before Arrow started doing really, really good stuff. When they really started remastering really well. The Blu-ray wasn't very good. It wasn't a really good release. There was a lot of complaints about it. And they said, if you're going to get either one, get the DVD. So at the time, I said, okay, I'll pick up the DVD. I'm glad I did because it's got a really cool Arrow box case. Arrow, like, window box case, and it has the different things. And of course, just like many of the others, this one here also has a poster. But unlike many of the others, this one has a poster on both sides. So you're getting like not, it doesn't have the advertisements that the other one has. It has actually artwork on both sides of it. These here also have great booklets in there, and the Aerobox stuff. First off, has just so many different options for the inside art. There's two more, as you can tell if you look at the back of this right here. There's 4 art options for the film. I just think that's amazing. So with that said, let's get into my Aero Blu-rays, and we'll start with the kind of the rare ones, the window box ones, the slip boxes that people have been asking me about. So what makes an Aero slip box unique? Why do people love them so much? Well, they gave you a lot of options for artwork, for one, and back in the day, you would also put posters in there. You'd get lobby cards in certain ones as well, and it was just a really cool way to do the films. So here is my very small, modest Aero window box collection. I have Phenomenon, and just so you can see all the different art and the poster and stuff. This is a great print, by the way. I know that Snaps is putting this out, but I'm telling you one thing right now. See that those 4 poster art, those 4 arts and the poster and all stuff, that is not going to be in the Snaps version. You will get a really good print of it, but again, you're not going to get the poster. You're not going to get this stuff here, and it's really worth having. So if you were even thinking about whether you should get this or not, I'm going to shove on another cover for this one here to show you, and this should totally make you mind, because this is one of the posters that's not there. That is awesomeness. Come on, that's all kinds of awesomeness. Just, you have so many choices too. Phenomenon's a fantastic film. Argento, great stuff. It's got some really cool features on here. Dario's Monkey Business, The Making of Phenomenon, 50-minute long documentary. Some great interviews around here. Music for Maggots, where we talked to Claudio Simonetti. Creepers for Creatures, where we talked to Sergio Stivaliti. Just some great stuff. Even got an introduction by Stivaliti on it. The Birth Crystal Plumage. I love this cover. Again, there's a ton of really cool artwork on that. Posters, everything. I mean, it just is so well done. Aero just puts so much work and so much love into their stuff, and the booklets are they're so amazing. I mean, like, they're Criterion level, like, goodness in these booklets. I mean, Aero is what I think is the Criterion of the genre film. Just looking at this, one of the other covers. Very much like the newer movie, Amer, kind of reminds you of that, doesn't it? Yeah, I think I'm going to put that one in for a while. So there we go. I love that cover, actually. Next up is Vamp. It's an 80s kind of like horror comedy starring Chris Makepeace, who was a Canadian actor that was big over here. He starred in, the movie My Bodyguard, which is another huge film over here. And, of course, this has Grace Jones in it. And, what's his name? Robert Russler, I think. Yeah, he was in, like, Friday the 13th, too. He did, like, a bunch of horror movies. So this is kind of a comical one. There's a really good feature out on this as well. And just like one of his short films that the guy made before doing Vamp. Almost kind of like, hey, this shows that I can do comedy, horror comedy, and it did really well. It's called Dracula Bites the Big Apple. It's hilarious. I watch it all the time. So next up is, I'm a Fulci fan, so this was one that I had to have. It's A House by the Cemetery by Lucio Fulci. It's the third in the Gates of Hell trilogy. There are some great features on here. As you can tell, that's loaded with features. Here are the different artworks. Notice that one of them is very Shining-esque. Again, posters, all kinds of extra goodies. Just great stuff. Next up is one of the last Aero window boxes I bought. I knew that they were getting rid of the window boxes. My better half got this one for me as a surprise. And I was really glad she did, because it's a really cool movie by Joseph Zito called Red Scorpion. Very cheesy 80s action film. And I love this type of stuff. And some great features. Again, cool poster. Some fantastic artwork to choose from. And last but not least is, definitely not least, is Inferno. Inferno's really, this one almost made my my list of the top 5, actually. But it is just such a great one. And I'll go to the top 12. And it has amazing things. And this one has lobby cards and all that on it. So There's all kinds of goodness in Inferno. This is one. If you can get the window box of Inferno still, don't hesitate. Go pick it up as soon as possible. It's a great one. Oh. Except I got a few of the Mary Bava ones. I don't have them all yet, but I'm working on it. I've got Black Sunday. This one is incredible. This one actually has Ivan Pier on it. It's Italian's first sound horror film. So first horror from that sound. So pretty cool. Directed by I think Riccardo Fredi, with camera work by Mario Bava. I think Fredi walked off the set, and Bava ended up finishing the directing on it. So not on Black Sunday, on Ivan Pier, the kind of bonus feature film of this. Black Sunday is just a fantastic Bava film, which you really got to see. Black Sabbath is another fantastic one. I love this movie. There's great features, and like most of these, a lot of these here Bava sets, the new ones that were done, are all 3-disc sets, because what they're doing is a lot of people saw these from a kind of re-release from AIP with different scores done by by Les Baxter, and sometimes even switched around a bit. I know that the stories in Black Sabbath are actually were moved around to give it, I guess, a different sensibility, but it didn't work as well as the Italian one. Like, either way, you get to choose, because every edition of the films that you want, the American, if you grew up watching the AIP stuff and you were, say, like my dad's age, and you went to the theater and you saw the AIP stuff, you kind of want to see that. You definitely going to want to see the uncut, the Italian editions, but you're still going to want to see what you grew up with. Those are the ones that you see, the ones you love, right? So you don't have to choose. You don't have to go out and buy like 2 kinos to get both versions of the film. They do the set so that you do get both versions of the film on there, and that's incredible. Sometimes they have up to like 3 different versions of the film. It's just great stuff. There's a lot of stuff in other commentaries and just features and featurettes and all that stuff. Bay of Blood, again, another favorite of mine. This is one of their early Arrow, kind of when they started to do the Bavas. The most recent one was The Girl Who Knew Too Much. Again, it's another, it's the 3-disc set, like The Girl Who Knew Too Much, and Evil Eye. And then they have the DVD edition of The Girl Who Knew Too Much and the DVD edition of Evil Eye on separate discs, which is extremely cool. So you're getting the original Italian version of Girl Who Knew Too Much. You're getting the Evil Eye, the re-edited, rescored US version by AIP. There's an optional English subtitle version for The Girl Who Knew Too Much. I'm saying subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing for Evil Eye. There's other commentaries on this one. All But the Girl with Lucio Cozy. Just some amazing stuff. Now to another director that I really love is De Palma, and Dress to Kill was a no-brainer to grab this one. There's a ton of features on here. De Palma's a fantastic director. He's highly underrated, and that was definitely one. King New York, really cool film, again by the guy that Abel Ferrara, who made Miss 45, and I really like this film. I don't think it gets enough credit. Christopher Walken's really good in this. It's got a great cast, so Dave Caruso, Lawrence Fishburne, Wesley Snipes, Steve Buscemi. That's an incredible cast. Of course, everybody likes Django now, so they did Django. They originally did this one as a DVD only, as an Aerodrome release. It became extremely popular. They put like a featurette on it, put it out, like remastered for Blu-ray. Awesome stuff, really cool. Next up is Big Trouble in Little China. This is definitely a favorite of mine. Very, very awesome film. I love Kurt Russell, and I love Carpenter. So this was a lot of people's favorite film with them is either The Thing or Escape from New York. For me, it's Big Trouble in Little China. I just really like it. It's really different. It's really unique, and I do love those other 2 movies that they're fantastically fabulous films. But there's just something about this movie that I really like. I like the quirky and unusual, different type stuff. Porky's, classic Canadian one by Bob Clark. Great film. Love this movie. Way underrated, and much more nice and cool and sensitive than you'd actually expect for a movie called Porky's. American Virgin, which is pretty much a kind of like a remake of a Lemon Popsicle, which kind of Porky's, all of them kind of comes from the Israeli film Lemon Popsicle, to be honest with you. It kind of started that whole genre. and he did it in a cool way. I think that this can be actually this one. Yeah, it's definitely an underrated film. It's much more it's much more touching than a film like this should be, and it would go in directions. I think American Pie started out like to do that, and as the sequels went on, they just became like they lost the heart that was originally in these films, and that's the big thing that. There's a lot of like sex movies that come out, sexploitation and teen exploitation movies come out with like nudity or like coming of age type of things that are just cheesy and they're just nude scenes. But awesome, yes, awesome stuff. Brandon to Kill, fun one. I haven't watched this one yet actually. I really wanted this one. It's a really cool, like unique cover. The storyline was neat. Actually, there's a different version of the film. Kind of, it's called Roman porno. It's not porno. It's kind of like just a different genre thing to it. And it's called Trapped in Lust, which is really cool. So I want to see both versions of these films. It's going to be interesting to check them out. Runaway Train is the best film that Canon ever made. Like as in like Academy quality type of film. This would be an Academy picture. It was made by any other company. If you actually watch the Canon movie Electric Boogaloo, you know, the kind of the wild story of Canon films, they actually talk about that, and I gotta totally agree. This is a fantastic film. Definitely check it out. Exterminator is fun, it's cheesy, it's crazy, and I just love this film. I really do. I remember seeing this when I was a kid. I still know Exterminator 2. I really got to pick it up. It's a great movie, and you know, the man they push too far. I love revenge films. Not everybody's like a big fan of the revenge genre, but I'm a really big fan of it. Unofficial number 13 of was Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. This is the one that sucks most people into start buying Arrow. It's just such a cool edition. There's so much stuff on it, so many great features that this is usually in the top 5 or top 10 of everybody's like horror collection, let alone their top Arrow collection. And this was number 13 on my list because there's certain ones that I just really were personal to me. But this definitely is an alternate for the top 12. It's really, really well done, and it should be in absolutely everybody's collection. Wild Geese. This one had a little bit of controversy with me because I bought this for my better half, and we do like the movie Wild Geese. It's one that we want to have fun with. You know, it's got Richard Harris, Richard Burton. We got Roger Moore. My better half's a huge Roger Moore fan, so that's going to be cool to watch there. The original release of this actually had the kind of unofficial Italian sequel on there, which we were kind of hoping to get as well. But that was a limited edition, and unfortunately, that one's not out anymore. You can go buy that one separately, I think, on DVD only. But still, amazingly fun Wild Geese film. So interesting to check that one out again. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a favorite of mine. This one almost made the list as well. Just amazing cover. I saw the Blu-ray. My good friend Skinslip has the Blu-ray, and it's a really cool Blu-ray. This cover here, I just had to have this one. The Visitor, again, another kind of really fun film. Who doesn't want to see a movie that's got Space Jesus in it? And it's Franco Nero. Django himself has Space Jesus. So, yeah, it's really weird. Next up is Theater Blood. There's so many fantastic Arrow films that's hard to make a top list of them. They're just so good, and this is just an amazing. This is probably one of my favorite, if not my all-time favorite, Vincent Price film. Theater Blood is really, really fun and really, really good. And Vincent Price gets to play those Shakespearean roles that he'd always wanted to play in kind of a unique way because he gets to play them as an actor that's kind of a bad actor, and it's really hard to play a bad actor. Cat o' Nine Tails is probably one of my favorite covers that Arrow put out, and this is not my favorite Argento film. Actually, it's very low on my Argento film list, but it's a fun little film, great cover, and I want all Argento. When people think of the Wachowski brothers, they usually think about The Matrix. They rarely think about Bound, but Bound is a fantastic little film. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. And Jennifer Tilly and Gina Gershon play lesbian lovers. If that doesn't make you go get the movie, I don't know what will. We have, again, another Brian De Palma film, The Fury. It's been a while since I watched this one. I really got to basically check this one out again. It's been a long time, actually. But great little film from definitely from what I remember. I want to rewatch it again and look at it and watch all the features. There's a ton of features on here. There's like a short film on here as well. worth checking out. Sisters is a Brian De Palma film that I really love, and it's one of my favorites because I'm a huge fan of Margot Kidder. Of course, she is my Lois Lane, and one of the Canadian heartthrobs of all time. She was just one of those girls that there was something about her. She just had this unique quality to her, and part of it was she seemed broken at times, and unfortunately, that she was a little bit in actuality in real life. But she was an amazing actress, and she still is an amazing actress, and one of the most incredible women I ever saw on celluloid. She just had this different, unique quality to her that you can't, that everybody doesn't have. You just got to have it. You just got it or you don't. And she had it. And Sisters is a good film that showcases that. Phantom of the Paradise is one of my favorite musicals of all time. It is my son's favorite musical of all time. Just really incredible stuff. Great interview with Del Toro and Paul Williams on here. The Burbs is one that I think everybody should have. This is one that people have been asking for ages. I actually put the work print on her as well. I haven't watched the work print yet. And this is one I want to sit down and watch with my better half because I think this is one that she would enjoy. Have you seen The Burbs? It's a comedy with Tom Hanks when Tom Hanks was actually still funny and did comedies and didn't just make all depressing movies. Just saying, Tom Hanks, just saying. It's got, of course, directed by Joe Dante. It has Corey Feldman in this one as well. There's like a bunch of actors in this movie that I really dug, actually. Bruce Dern's in this one, right? Yeah, Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia herself. Obsession is one of my favorite De Palma films. I type this one a lot. It's just one that it's like Vertigo with a happy ending. I just like the film a lot. I love Larry Cohen, and The Stuff is one of my favorites. I know the It's Alive movies are fantastic. The Stuff just has a special place in my heart, and I really love it. So just like the tagline says, can't get enough of the stuff. Now here we are, down to my top 12 Arrow video Blu-rays. Curious? Have you figured them out yet? By you kind of process of elimination, have you kind of figured out what some of them are? Maybe you did. First up is Life Force. Superior version of Life Force. Yes, Scream Factory did a version of it. Yes, it was cool. Is it as good as this one? No. There's a full feature-length making of on this one here. This UK exclusive that you gotta have. It's got some amazing stuff on here, and Life Force is just an incredible film. Next up is Mark the Devil. This one isn't everybody's favorite. It's kind of it can be a slower mover, slower burn, especially for younger audiences that are kind of used to the MTV kind of fast-paced, everything happens in 1 second type of thing. But it's a really good one, and if you, for no other reason, get this from Mark the Times, the documentary on basically on 60s and 70s new wave of British horror films. Basically, they'd gone through a huge gothic period with Amicus and with Hammer. The tide was changing. Horror movies were evolving. They were becoming something new, something different. And this really goes into that really well. Next up is the blaxploitation classic Foxy Brown with Pam Grier. I love this movie. All the features on this are incredible and really fit in well with this. If you have not seen this movie, it's a great movie. The features are amazing. And just definitely get it. It's awesome. Next up is the Demons 2 Steelbook. I really dig this one. I know Snap's an amazing one. It's supposed to be like even better. But Snap's Demons cost $50 freaking bucks alone to buy for Demons on Steelbook. And Demons 2 costs $50 more to buy. And that's like cheap if you can get it for cheap. This cost me about $20 for Demons and Demons 2 on Blu-ray. Fantastic transfers, and they are fantastic transfers. With definitely decent, cool features, an awesome booklet, an art card, and just some really cool stuff. And on frigging Steelbook, I do dig these Steelbooks a little bit better actually. And again, it's my personal opinion on that. Next up is a recent buy, and that's Shivers. Shivers just happens to be one of my favorite movies. They came from within, and I'm a huge fan of Canadian horror. I'm kind of biased because I am Canadian after all, but I grew up on a lot of this stuff, and Shivers is one of those movies that had a monumental part in my life early on. It's a Cronenberg film. It's really weird, really different. He's doing the kind of the body horror type stuff that he does so well, and definitely belongs in everybody's collection. Here's one that is another one that I think belongs so much in everybody's collection and a certain person's collection so much that I sent it to them. Actually, I bought them their own copy, and this is White of the Eye by Donald Cammell. It's a really cool, really amazing, really intense, really realistic film about a serial killer, and it's different, it's unique, it's scored by Nick Mason, who I think he wrote score basically from Pink Floyd. There's a short film on here as well, really strange, really different. But what's really fantastic above all that, Donald Cammell's ultimate performance is a feature-length documentary on the tragic life of the director of this film, and it is absolutely incredibly engrossing. It is amazing. White the Eye is such a great film. It's one you really, really got to check out. It is fantastic. Here's one. Just when you think you're zombied out, you can't watch any more zombie films. They release one that shows you, yeah, you still love these things. You can't stop watching them. And that's Zombie Flesh Eaters. Lucio Fulci again. Fulci is amazing stuff. Zombie Flesh Eaters, also known, I guess, as Zombie 2. It's so many names this thing have. But I love this one here again. It's the DVD Blu-ray release. Incredible stuff. The features on this are amazing. I love this movie. I think this is, even this as highly rated as this is, I still think it's underrated. It's just so great. I love this film. Next up is the last of the steelbooks that are going to be in this one you're going to see, and it is The Beyond. I know that they put out another edition that's the soundtrack, but this steelbook was the one for me to get. I mean, I can get the soundtrack down the road on, so I'll buy the vinyl and the soundtrack or something like that, but I love this. Is it glow in the dark? No, it has an actually really nice cover, and it's as good as it gets cover-wise for this film. This is the best art that you will ever see for this film, and you're not going to get better than the steelbook when it comes to like the just the way it's done. It's just amazing. Next up is one that I've shown so many times on here, and that is Remo Williams. Love this movie, love the documentary. Anybody that's seen my videos and went and bought Remo Williams and watched the documentary, I usually say, you know, you're right, that was a fantastic documentary. I'm glad I got it. Amazing stuff. So you gotta have it. If you've got a region for your player, and you like the action movies at all, and the kind of the cool 80s cheesy stuff, and that, and if you don't have this one, shame on you, because it's really good. Remember when I said there's movies that I could double dip on because they were really that good? Well, this is the one. Definitely one of the ones, and one of the great ones, and it's Tenebrae. The master Tenebrae put out an amazing release, superior in every way to the Blu-ray and DVD release. It's got all the features that you would have got on that release, plus new features as well. A beautiful new cover, which I love. Two very kind of what I consider absolutely fabulous discs, just artwork it's amazing. I just love this one. I really love it. I really do. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, again, just another wonderful film, one of my favorite films, and I thought one of the best things that Arrow ever put out, which leads me to what I think is the best thing that Arrow has ever released, ever. I think Logan Toxic would agree with me on this one as well, and that is Vincent Price's box set 6 Gothic Tales. This is definitely a pride and joy of my collection. As far as like UK stuff goes, this one and the one I got at the same time, the Ultimate Hammer set, are two different, definitely pride and joys of my UK releases. And 6 Gothic Tales is just amazing. We got 6 films here. We got a big 200-page hardcover book with comic adaptations of some of the films. Fall of the House of Usher, The Pit and the Pendulum, Tales of Terror, The Raven, Haunted Palace, and Tombs of Ligeia. Fantastic stuff. So there you go, guys. That's my entire Arrow collection with my top 12. And thank you guys so much for watching. So if you're just starting out buying Arrow, if you haven't bought any Arrow, or you're thinking of what to get, hopefully that'll give you a little bit of an idea. And it'll give you a little insight onto some of the stuff that I like and I really dig too. So you can look forward to seeing more Arrow and coming in my collection. And although I don't think I'm going to get it done tonight, very soon I'm going to be doing a complete collection review of my Scream Factory releases with a top 12 pick there as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. It's been 40 minutes of me talking. My throat's almost gone. So right now it's time for tea. Say hello to the Pin Lord in the sky, my better half who's there working off screen, my neurotically crazy cat Smokey, and have a great night. May there be many Lucio Fulci di Argento nights in your future. And it really is, since my throat is going, time for tea.